Hello, my name is Solon, and this is Video Game Choo Choo's review of Tempest 4000. Tempest 4000 is not actually Tempest. Well, it is, but Tempest is a lot of different things. The main screen, for example, declares Tempest to be Atari founder Nolan Bushnell's neon Lovechild. I wish I could scrub that phrase out of my mind, but since I can't, I figure I'd share it with you because my misery enjoys your company. Atari declares to be presenting this as Tempest 4000, which is a bold claim to make since the Atari Jaguar game Tempest 2000 was made to bring Tempest into the new millennium, so we're gonna need to savor this one for about 1900 more years. What Tempest 4000 actually is Jeff Minter's 2014 PS Vita game TXK. That's actually exactly what it is. So here's a story. In early 2014, TXK launched to a bit of success as a surprise indie game on the PS Vita, and people saw it as a new version of Tempest made by the veteran who has been building Tempest for decades, Jeff Minter. Atari, presumably with money signs popping out of their eyeballs like a cartoon character, then leveraged press media's comparison to their Tempest IP and filed a cease and desist on any further production of TXK. Jeff Minter immediately had to cancel his pending ports to PlayStation 4, VR, Android, and PC. There was very little ground for Atari to stand on, but when Atari's lawyers have their boots on the neck of your small company, what can you do? Jeff Minter, the absolute veteran, sucked it up and sold out. Which brings us to today, where we now are happy to present our review of the PlayStation 4 version of Atari Presents Tempest 4000. It sucks. Tempest has always been an important game historically due to its simple breakthrough of two-dimensional play spaces into a three-dimensional perspective, and any of its iterations will live immortal as beautiful, aesthetically pleasing games. Except this one. While TXK was originally designed to be played on small screens, Tempest 4000 is being sold as a game for 4K monitors, thus the name Tempest 4000. This makes the addition of harsh strobe flashing very hard to watch, especially in a game centered around precise performance. The level designs are exactly the same as TXK, but the enemy designs are changed and no longer match the vector line aesthetic. On top of that, the enemies come with their own new exploding effects that feel like a cheap 3D movie throwing confetti and neon at the player's face. It's rude to blind me while I'm trying to play, and worse, it makes the game feel like a cheap gimmick, rather than the deeply embedding flow TXK's simple, clean lines originally had. All of this would be fine if there were options to turn the effects off. But Tempest 4000 is missing most contemporary necessities like a grid-based level select screen where all the levels are on one screen, changeable controls, adjustable graphic settings, or a colorblind option. In a game as simple as Tempest, that should be all about accessibility and wanting as many people to play it as possible, it really is unforgivable to not be at the contemporary level set by similar arcade games like N++ or Geometry Wars. What Tempest 4000 does do right is that you still blast polygonal enemies that crawl up the 2D surfaces of a tube as some kind of wonky crab, while trying to dodge enemy attacks and pick up power-ups. It's just like I remember it growing up, but now with power-ups. I'd like to say that it's like its peers in Missile Command or Alien Invaders in that it explores a theme like the futility of war. It tries to tackle an idea that if you're patient and calm in the face of chaos, you will be rewarded. At least, that's the moral and practice of Tempest. In execution, every level's primary solution is pretty much the same. You shoot baddies in a quadrant of the map, then once you are surrounded, you hit the super bomb button, then you collect all the power-ups until you're carried through to the end of the level. That's how you beat every single level of Tempest 4000. Unfortunately, there isn't much to say about how Tempest 4000 has been improved by the use of 90s era power-ups. The jump button is nice, but it doesn't feel like it affects the formula of Tempest in a meaningful way. By the end of it all, I feel like I deserved more from something that mathematically defines itself as twice as powerful as Tempest 2000. Some of the sound effects are missing from TXK's original version of the game, and the music has been changed from late 90s techno to generic trance music. There aren't even transitions or fade-outs from the game over screen to the main screen. Tempest 4000 is a neutered version of TXK, whose shortcomings reduce it from being a nostalgic novelty to being a nauseating nuisance. I don't recommend Tempest 4000 for anyone, especially because after playing and listening to it for 20 minutes, you will likely get a headache or just be generally exhausted like I was. It really is unfortunate, especially due to the disastrous adventure this game has already been on, but Tempest 4000, as Atari has presented it to us, receives a 1 out of 5. Hoo boy. I want to believe the Atari symbols raining down on the title screen and Bushnell's neon Lovechild are meant to be ironically pointing out Atari's litigious harassment of this game's development cycle. But God, is it tasteless and tacky. Most of the title card stingers are. One of them just says, "The Daddy." And I don't even know how they want me to take that. The Daddy.